Donald O'Connor talks about his real feelings about Debbie Reynolds. Donald O'Connor was born Donald David Dixon Ronald on August 28, 1925 in Chicago, Illinois. His family was in show business. They were performers who traveled around doing acts. It seemed like Donald was meant to be in entertainment too. His parents were performers who were always on the road with their shows, and little Donald grew up surrounded by performing from when he was really small. Some really sad things happened. When he was a kid, several of his brothers and sisters died young, but even though he went through hard times, he learned to be tough and developed this incredible energy that would later make him famous on screen. Donald started making movies when he was still just a kid. When he was 11 years old, he was in his first movie, and during the 1930s and 1940s, he quickly became known as one of Universal Studios' most reliable actors. He made a big impression playing the young sidekick in movies with big stars like Bing Crosby and Peggy Ryan. When he was a teenager, he was usually cast in fun musicals and comedies, where his natural charm and amazing dancing skills won over audiences. His boyish good looks and relaxed personality helped him go from being a child actor to a leading man in a way that very few people could pull off. One of his first big claims to fame was his role in a bunch of musical comedies where he starred with Gloria Jean and Peggy Ryan. His lively energy and perfect comedy timing helped make him a dependable star in the Hollywood system. But it was in the 1950s that Donald O'Connor hit the highest point of his career. His performance in Singing in the Rain in 1952, acting alongside Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds, is still one of the greatest moments from Hollywood's golden age of musicals. In this amazing movie, O'Connor showed off his unbeatable physical comedy and brilliant dancing in the now legendary scene called Make 'Em Laugh. This routine mixed slapstick comedy with incredible athleticism, and it was so exhausting that he reportedly had to stay in bed for days afterward just to recover. But it became one of the most famous scenes in movie history, making O'Connor's reputation as a master entertainer. Besides his musical work, O'Connor also showed he could be a great straight actor and comedian. He starred in the popular Francis the Talking Mule movie series, where he played the likable soldier Peter Sterling, opposite a funny, wisecracking mule. Even though O'Connor later said he had mixed feelings about being so closely connected with the Mule movies, they were hugely popular with audiences and helped make him a household name. His ability to smoothly switch from slapstick comedy to sweet musical numbers made him stand out from other actors of his time. Besides movies, Donald O'Connor was also successful on TV and on stage. He had his own variety show called The Donald O'Connor Show in the 1950s and appeared as a guest on tons of programs, from talk shows to comedy specials. He performed in Las Vegas, on Broadway, and on stages around the world, proving that people loved him, not just in movies but everywhere. His work earned him awards, including a Primetime Emmy Award in 1954 for Best Male Star of a Regular Series. He even hosted the Academy Awards in 1954, which showed off even more of his versatility and charm. Even when the era of classic musicals started to fade, O'Connor's legacy kept shining. He got a whole new generation of fans through TV appearances and occasional movie roles, including in Out to Sea in 1997, where he acted alongside Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, showing that his comedy timing and likability never went away. People recognized his contributions, with lots of Lifetime Achievement Awards, and he was often asked to share his memories of Hollywood's golden age in interviews and looking back specials. As the years went by, O'Connor continued to be celebrated for his amazing contributions to entertainment. He earned many awards and honors, including an Emmy Award for hosting the Colgate Comedy Hour, and in 2003, just 1 year before he died, he was honored with a Career Achievement Award from the American Film Institute. His later years were filled with looking back and feeling grateful as he recognized the joy he had found in bringing laughter and music into the lives of countless people around the world. Donald O'Connor's personal life was just as eventful and complex as his entertainment career, and much of it centered around his 2 marriages and the family he built over the years. He was married twice and became the father of 4 children, each of whom represented an important chapter in his life outside the bright lights of Hollywood. His first marriage happened in 1944 when he was just 18 years old, at a time when his career as a performer was still in its early stages, but already showing signs of great promise. He married Gwendolyn Carter, who was 2 years older than him at age 20. The couple's decision to get married in Tijuana, Mexico, was typical of the impulsive and romantic choices that young couples often make, especially in the hyper-show world of the entertainment industry. Despite being so young, the marriage was a serious commitment, and soon they welcomed their first child together, a daughter named Donna. For O'Connor, becoming a father at such a young age brought both happiness and responsibility, and it added a new part to his life that was already filled with the demands of a rising career in show business. However, like many Hollywood marriages of that time, the pressures of constant work, long times away from home, and the challenges of personal differences eventually led to problems. After 10 years together, O'Connor and Carter divorced in 1954, ending his first marriage, but leaving behind the lasting bond of their daughter, Donna. 2 years after his divorce, O'Connor found love again. On October 11, 1956, he married actress Gloria Noble, who would become his lifelong companion and partner. Their marriage turned out to be deeply lasting, going on for nearly 50 years until O'Connor's death in 2003. With Gloria, O'Connor expanded his family, and together they raised 3 more children, Alice, Fred, and Kevin. The family eventually settled in Thousand Oaks, California, where they built a stable and loving home environment away from the constant spotlight. Unlike his first shorter marriage, O'Connor's union with Gloria was marked by stability, mutual devotion, and remarkable longevity, lasting 47 years. Their marriage survived the ups and downs of his career, his health struggles, and the changing landscape of Hollywood, making it one of the most solid relationships in the entertainment world. Gloria stood by O'Connor during his successes and his more difficult times, giving him the kind of grounding and support that many performers struggle to find. When Donald O'Connor looked back on his long career in Hollywood, filled with dazzling performances in movies, television, and on stage, one of the names that always came up with warmth and admiration was Debbie Reynolds. The two had worked together during one of the golden periods of MGM musicals, and O'Connor never held back from expressing how deeply he respected and cherished her, both as a performer and as a person. In interviews throughout his life, he often spoke honestly about Reynolds, offering insights into the qualities that made her stand out in an industry full of talent. His words revealed more than just professional admiration. They captured the genuine fondness and friendship that developed between two people who shared the stage lights during a legendary era. "She was one of the hardest working women I ever met," O'Connor once said, thinking about the countless hours Reynolds spent rehearsing and perfecting her craft. At the time of Singing in the Rain, Debbie was still quite young and relatively new to the tough world of big-budget musicals. Yet O'Connor was amazed by her determination. "She had no dance experience when she started," he explained, "but she worked herself to exhaustion to keep up with Gene and me. I respected her so much for that." Those comments, delivered with both admiration and empathy, emphasized the almost superhuman effort Reynolds put into a film that would go on to become a cinematic masterpiece. O'Connor recognized that her determination not only earned her a place beside two seasoned performers, but also helped define her as one of the great screen icons of the era. Beyond her professional stamina, O'Connor spoke warmly about Reynolds' personality. "Debbie was just delightful," he remembered with a smile. "She was funny, she was charming, and she could light up a room. People adored her, and I was one of them." His memories painted a picture of a woman who, despite the pressures of Hollywood and the grueling demands of her roles, never lost the spark of humor and warmth that made her beloved by audiences. To O'Connor, she wasn't just a co-star who delivered a performance, she was a friend who brought laughter and friendship to the set, helping to ease the intensity of long filming schedules. O'Connor often pointed out that Reynolds had a toughness that deeply impressed him. "She went through so much in her personal life," he once reflected, "and yet she always managed to smile, to laugh, and to move forward. That takes real strength." These comments reflected his recognition of the challenges she faced behind the glamorous Hollywood facade. From demanding studio contracts to personal heartbreaks, O'Connor admired that Reynolds never let those struggles break her spirit. Instead, she channeled her energy into her work and continued to bring joy to audiences worldwide. That the affection O'Connor felt for Reynolds was not only professional, but also deeply personal. "Debbie was like family to me," he admitted. "We shared a bond that only people who've been through the trench